Dave made this beat.
Welcome to Say Like a Champ, episode 248. It's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Striz. What's up, SLAC fam?
What's good? We back in the building. Another week in sports. And today we're on early a little bit with our NBA Finals preview edition. Now, of course, the finals isn't exactly set, but we're taking a little bit of privilege with our prediction on what's going to go down with the Mavs and the Timberwolves. Now, they are playing later tonight. But we'll get into a little bit more about how that series has gone in just a minute. But before we do, want to welcome everybody into the show. We appreciate you having us being with us. And also for those that got that alert, that's what's up. Make sure you ring that bell so you can know anytime we go live early. Strizzy, what's good?
Not much, man. You know what I'm saying? I went to Comic-Con this past weekend. It was dope, but expensive as ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the area that they do it in, I forget what it's called, but like it was, it's really good. You know, I feel like as busy as it is, as many people as it is, you don't feel too cramped. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but it was really cool. You know, I got to take my daughter and my niece with me, so you know they're big kind of anime fans and things of that nature. So it's just really cool times. You know what I'm saying? Really busy June. You know what I'm saying? Coming up. So, but I'm excited for it all. You?
That's what's up. Yeah. I'm doing good. Time's moving quick as always, but that's what's up to hear about Fan Fusion. You know, my boy Andrew and Alan and I way back, like when we were like seniors in high school, we went to like a Comic-Con around here. Like and it was like a smaller one, like not the official one downtown, but it's just crazy though to see like how far it's come. I mean, obviously that's like 17 years ago, like to see the growth. And to see how big it is now. And I think it's especially dope that, you know, you're able to share that with your daughter and with the next generation because, like, there is something for everybody. So that's super tight.
Yeah,
what were they most excited?
Oh, it is really cool, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially for the fact that, like, you know, when we were really little, we were kids, you know, like liking anime, liking comic books, things of that nature. It wasn't necessarily the coolest thing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, I personally never got bullied, you know what I'm saying? But I do know, you know, people who were and things of that nature. So, you know, just to see how like mainstream it's become over the last, you know, I won't even say 10 years, but, you know, we'll say recent years. It's actually kind of cool. So like you said, it's cool to be able to share with my daughter. We go, you know, twice a year. We go to Fan Fusion every year. And then we also go to Sabaton, which is more anime related later on in the year. So it's cool to be able to share those things with my daughter. Same interests.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely cool from that perspective. Like you said, like how bigger it's gotten, but that's where the price comes along too, where it kind of sucks. Because it's like, man, I remember when this was not that big of a deal.
Real.
Now they're hitting you over the head. So
crazy, dude.
It's too crazy. But that's what's up. All right. So we are gonna do, you know, a little bit of a SLAC Express today. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into our graphics, get into our topic. And again, we want to do this NBA Finals preview. Want to welcome in Pops to the show.
Pops?
What's good, Pops? Thank you for the comments. Glad you were able to jump on early with us. And yeah, so a lot has happened since we talked last. Literally, we were going into the conference finals last Tuesday. And now with one sweep and on the verge of another sweep, we've gone from, you know, deciding which one of these young stars will be an NBA champion to now basically having it dwindle down to Tatum and Doncic. As we've done in the past couple of weeks, I want to kind of wrap up the season for those participants that have been eliminated. And, you know, we pretty much expected this from the Celtics series, but tell me about the Pacers, what your thoughts of the series were and kind of what's next for them.
You know, Rick Carlisle is a really good coach. Like, he's been a really good coach. I thought it was a really good pickup, you know, last year for the Pacers when they brought him in. So I'm pretty sure it was mid-season. I don't think it was from the beginning. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, it was midseason.
I think this is his first full season.
Correct. Yeah, correct. And he's always been a really, really good coach, especially when it comes to his point guards. And seeing Halliburton go down and just seeing Nembhard and TJ McConnell kind of step in and kind of just, obviously are they going to be what you expect Halliburton to be? No, but man, Nembhard had a really, really big game in that game 4, and you just, I hate to say it, but it's like, it's not Boston's fault that pretty much every team they played this postseason, all of their star player or main players in general like got hurt, but
right.
I think we could definitely say it was definitely an easy road. Like they weren't tested at all. But to see like this game, like this series, in my opinion, if Pacers had a closer, could easily be 3-1. You know what I'm saying? Like they just had no one to close. They should have won game 1. They
definitely.
Let in game 3, let them come back. Let in game 4, let them come back. And easily could have been up 3-1 if they had a closer on that team. But I think Boston's either going to be ready for Mavs or they're just not going to be battle tested, and the Mavs are just going to run all over them. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think it will be an interesting matchup next. I agree with what you're saying. Definitely, the Celtics has had the easier road. Generally, the East is a little bit of a lighter conference, and to start with.
In general,
and then you had between the Heat missing Jimmy Butler, between the 76ers going, kind of like losing their steam early, the Knicks not having Randall. Like then in this series, the Pacers, who had a great story up until now, great playoff run. Them missing Halliburton really hurt these last couple games. But like you said, game 1, they're right there. They should have won that game if they would have just closed out. I think they need to consider fouling like at the end of games when they're up 3, because that happened 3 times during this playoff run. That they gave away games basically that they could have won. It's not as fun to see, obviously, to play. You want to see it played out, but still, like buzzer beater threes or game tying threes, like
100%. 100%.
So, and then last night's game, they had a good. They were controlling the game up until mid third quarter, and then when the Celtics got that momentum, it changed.
I think they went into the fourth quarter down like 2 or something like that. It was like, it's over. You know what I'm saying? Like, sorry, boys. You had a good run.
Exactly. Exactly. But I think it's gonna be curious for me to see if that's the Celtics really stepping into their own and like in those late game clutch situations coming through.
Yeah.
Or is it gonna be kind of tough, because we've seen that on the other side as well. The Mavs, like some late game situations, like having their own closer. So we'll jump to them in a second, but I do think that some things we brought up on this show, even dating back to last summer, have played a key for the Celtics. Holiday, we knew that was going to be a pickup that was going to come through at some point.
Yeah.
His late game steals, his just intensity on ball defense, that has definitely made a big difference. And then even the youngster White, like he's like an old young head. Like he's like a Rondo, like when Rondo and they had their big 3, and like Rondo was like the key, like the secret weapon that really kind of like gelled the team together.
Yeah.
Having players like that, and then not even having Porzingis yet back.
Yeah.
I think, oh man, I hate to admit, but I think this might be their best chance to win in a long time. So
agreed. Yeah. And you know how it goes too. You know what I mean? Like it's, Boston's just one of the biggest NBA, biggest NBA teams, and sooner or later it's just gonna be one of those things where it's like, okay, it's their time again to win another one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be the time. And if they don't win one this year, it's like they're never going to. You know what I'm saying? Like, they probably won't have Porzingis next year. Like, there's a really good chance they're not going to be able to keep Drew Holiday. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of these guys are probably on some one and done years, and that makes sense. Keep your core together, keep the chemistry together, and then make moves to figure out how we can get over this hump of losing. You know what I'm saying, every year. But Drew Holiday, like you said, he forces mistakes. Like he's a crazy on-ball defender, man, and he's doing with them exactly what he did for the Bucks. You know what I'm saying? And Derek White too. Like he's super quiet. You don't hear him say anything. Another great defender, just like Drew, like really underrated defender, and knocks down shots like nobody's business when his number is called. So, you have those dudes who are just gonna do so much for you, and it's funny because it's like a lot of people have been getting on Jason Tatum in regards to just like, he hasn't he hasn't been doing too much, but I'm like, he doesn't need to. Like,
right.
Literally any given night, 3 other players on this team can go for 20. You know what I'm saying? And he might have a quiet triple double or something of that nature. But I want Anthony, man. Let's go Mavs.
Yeah, I feel it. What's good, Anthony? Welcome to the show.
What's up, man?
Thank you for participating with us. But yeah, I'm definitely rooting for the Mavs. But cautiously, I do think that the Celtics have a great chance this year. And kind of like you said, like Tatum, it's funny how he's getting a little bit of hate, but it's like he's still putting up crazy numbers. And without him, like the team has a whole different dynamic. So he's like absolutely vital. But at the same time, you could make the argument he's not the reason they're going to win because it is going to be those extra pieces,
Oh, big time. And JB's been huge, man. If there's, true. The thing that I love about when he got that monstrous payday was like, all right, dog, like you can't falter. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't decrease in your productivity. You know what I mean? So, if anything, he's having literally the best season of his career so far. And, he definitely got the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. So, and that was over JT. So, hats off to him, man. He's playing out of his mind right now. He's playing super well. So, like I said, this is about as good a chance of any. If they don't win it this year, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, most definitely. I agree. All right, let's take a break from our finals preview real quick. I do want to say rest in peace to Bill Walton. He was a Celtic. So, wanted to take a moment to really pay my respects to Bill Walton because, he was, literally a trailblazer, but he was like definitely like a trailblazer in his own right for being himself, just like a lovable giant type of person, person that, exactly, like a goofball, and also just staying true to himself. Like, I love that and respect that. Like, he would wear his goofy Hawaiian shirts, you know what I'm saying? He would do his thing. He was like, to me, like the first hippie in the NBA, like outwardly, I'm just, doing my thing, enjoying life, and definitely a very peaceful person, but at the same time, a fierce competitor, right? He's like, obviously between the lines, I'm going to do everything I can to win, but he wanted everybody to, to just have a good time and enjoy their life. So big respect to Bill Walton. He's just a really silly guy, but definitely like a dope player. And then also his off the court, like, his contributions to the game continue. That's a really dope guy. So pops his comments. But yeah, so that was sad to see Bill Walton go down to pass away, and lots of people though paying their respects. It was kind of cool to see everybody kind of coming out and telling some little stories and things like that.
Definitely, completely agree.
All right, let's jump and continue on. We got the Mavs and the Timberwolves now. Of course, they are playing tonight. Mavs going for the closeout, which I am kind of expecting tonight, but I still think regardless of if it's closed out tonight or later on, I do think that the Mavs are gonna. There's no way they lose 4 in a row, in my opinion. What do you think went wrong for the Timberwolves in this series? Have they slipped up, or were they just like the perfect matchup for Denver, but not necessarily to go all the way?
Both. Yeah, I think it's a lot of those things. I think they were built to beat Denver. You know what I mean? Like that's how they put the team together, but it wasn't. But that was it, right? I think they're going to be fine. They're a young team led by a young Anthony Edwards. But I think a lot of things went wrong. I feel like with fresh legs defensively, it works really well. It helps when you have fresh legs and you're able to get back to your spots defensively. It really helps Rudy Gobert, right? But like I've been saying this all year. Like I was so disappointed and irritated about him getting his 4th defensive player of the year because dog hasn't been the defensive player of the year in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like it just
we see who Luka isolated like in that game the other night, right, for that game-winning 3.
But yeah, that's true. But like everybody's taking a shot at him. Anytime they switch on him, everybody's like, I got it. You know what I'm saying? Like he has been scored on all playoffs. Like it is, it's been all playoffs in every round. Like he's just been getting lit up. You know what I mean? Like I've said he's a great help side defender. You know what I mean? So like when it comes to someone's driving to the basket, he can come help side. But aside from that, I think he's extremely overrated. You know what I mean? I do, and it's kind of shown. Like there was a dude the other night who I didn't even know what the player's name was, who had him in an ISO situation, and he waved him off. And he waved everybody off. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody's picking and choosing and going after him. And I think a big part of it too is just fatigue. Having and coaching, I think having Ant having to guard Kyrie for the entire series is not okay. You know what I'm saying? Like coaching wise, like you got to figure out how to do something about that because, Kai is very much like Steph, where he's just going to dribble and wear you out, and having to stay on that during defense is crazy. And Kai's he'd be meditating, and so he got crazy stamina. So having to guard Kyrie Irving and then go out there and take 25, 30 shots, it's like impossible. You know what I'm saying? Like dude's getting oxygen in the fourth quarter. He's only 22, 23 years old.
Yeah.
Like that's wild. So I think it's a lot of different factors that they just weren't necessarily ready for this team. And you got two of the best closers in the league on one team. So even when they come back, from being down, either one of these dudes is going to take it to you. So it's rough.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they will be fine going into the future. We kind of talked about how they were a little bit ahead of schedule, right? We expected them to make a deep playoff run, but still kind of coming on, even this year, like being in that contention for the number one seed in the West all year is no easy feat, right? They and that's a great point. You bring up Edwards on Kyrie. Like Edwards is not going to slow down like his effort defensively, or he's not going to really take plays off, but that's going to end up hurting him in the long run because he's not have that legs later on. So I think it'll be a really good matchup going forward, but I almost see the Timberwolves, if they can figure out a few of their problems, like they have the rotation, but maybe just like, I don't know, they're just like a piece away of like tinkering. Like they're in the tinkering phase for me, kind of how the Celtics were like 2 years ago, right? Where it's like, okay, what can we add to this mixture? Like, without falling off or without, giving up too much. So I think that they'll be right there. But again, like it's just always a tough slog in the West. And like you said, like the Mavs have two great closers. They have two guys that can get a shot off when they need it, and they know how to control the pace of the game. So that's really paid dividends for the Mavs. And once they went up 2-0 in those first two games, I was like, man, like it's practically over. And now that they're down 3-0, like we just haven't, really seen that before, them coming back. So
yep. Never have they ever.
Yeah. A couple of comments I wanted to jump to and invite everybody to throw some comments in there. Let us know your guys' thoughts as we kind of transition to talking about the NBA Finals matchup and kind of our preview. Shai, welcome to the show. Drew Holiday will guard Luka or Kyrie in the finals. I think he's going to be on Kyrie. I think they're going to try to throw size at Luka.
Exactly. They'll probably put Derek White on Luka. He's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, and like in a sneaky big, in a way, because he's definitely a guard, but he gets a lot of block shots. Like he's just kind of like, kind of tricky like that. So I think that Drew Holiday will be on Kyrie, but that's going to be two great matchups right there. And it's crazy. Also, like one thing I forgot to say about Luka is like he's still not all the way healthy, but he doesn't need a lot of lift. He doesn't need a lot of athleticism to still like control the game. It's crazy. Like that's how good he is.
I heard right now he's dealing with a knee issue, an ankle issue, and a shoulder issue. Like dog is literally from top to bottom beat up and still almost averaging a triple-double throughout these playoffs, man. Like he's something else.
Yeah, he definitely is. It's pretty crazy. That's what's giving me hope. The Mavericks have those like star players and their attributes, but obviously the Celtics do too. So I think this is going to be a great matchup. I see this kind of going 7.
Yeah.
And I can't really pick it right now. I can't really call it. I think it also might depend on how long the Timberwolves drag this out.
For sure.
And are the Celtics going to get a lot of extra rest?
Yep. For real. So that's something that Dallas could have probably used a lot more than they could have used. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not to mention. Oh, my bad. I was just going to say, like, I'm with you. Like, my heart is like Dallas, please. You know what I'm saying? But my head is like the Celtics. If Porzingis comes back too, like I just feel like they're so built right now. But I love what Dallas is doing. But man, think about when you talk about like the Celtics road to get there. East or not, they still played 3 of the probably easiest teams in the
entire playoffs.
Entire playoffs, and Dallas probably played the hardest. They had to go through the Clips, OKC, and the Timberwolves. So the only team they didn't have to go through really was Denver, and I think they would have beat them too, if I'm being completely honest. You know what I'm saying? But that's a tough road, dog. It's a really tough road. So if anybody's battle tested, it's definitely them. They know how to win. And they just keep playing the defense that they're playing. And hopefully Lively comes back. That was a really hard kind of concussion blow yesterday because they really need his offensive rebounding and things of that nature. But you're right, man. I think whoever wins, I think it goes 7.
Yeah, I can see it being a back and forth like that for sure. Pop's mentioning Rudy Gobert. Yeah, he gets blocks, but totally overrated mental furball.
That's what I'm saying, Pops. That's what I'm saying, Pops.
Oh, man. Anthony West and Kyrie and Luka really play well off each other. No one, including me, thought they would play well together based on their skill set. Yeah. It was interesting. Like, honestly, even when Kyrie went there mid-year, like after that year and they didn't make the playoffs, it was like, oh, like, is this a pairing that's never going to happen? Like, are they going to, pull the plug before they even got a real chance at it? And they stuck with it. And I do think part of that has been Kyrie's maturity, I guess, sure. Like, and 100%. His just like, really sinking into like what he needs to do. So
100%. And Kai talked about it too. I really love what he said. I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but they had asked about him and his maturity and things of that nature, and he talked about it and just being there with J Kidd and helping Luka kind of mature himself. Trying to keep Luka grounded and get better defensively, and not yell at the refs and stuff so much. Like, I think this is like perfect place where Kai should be, and he's definitely shown it. He's been clutch all year.
Yeah, most definitely. Anthony Weston mentions it's crazy that all the Dallas main teams are in conference championship except Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. We're not going to bring that up, Anthony. He's so wild to football season. Shai says, will Porzingis be back for the finals? He should. I think, I heard early on like that he was going to be targeting like around game 4 of that Eastern Conference Finals, but he didn't come back because I think he was good. So especially depending on if Dallas and the Timberwolves kind of drag it out a little bit more, Porzingis is only getting healthier day by day. Great point here. Indy blew 3 of those games too. Yeah. That's what I'm hoping is the difference is like, okay, now if all things were equal and there's these late game situations between Dallas and the Celtics, I see Dallas having those players that the Pacers needed to take advantage of those situations and really close out those games. So if these games are close, the edge kind of goes to Dallas for me. But I could see the Celtics kind of running away with some games too, Yeah. It's really going to be interesting to see how they go. Pop says to me, it wasn't their skill set. It's all about Kyrie's mental state. He has matured, hasn't done anything crazy to this point. And he's only got to make it through one more series. So I think he's going to be fine at least till the summer. Now they win the championship this year, he might be saying some crazy stuff.
I completely agree with Pops. I completely agree with Pops. Like, let's not take away what Kyrie Irving is capable with a basketball in his hands. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, a lot of some crazy things said, in the last couple of years. But when the ball is in that man's hands, he's easily one of the best. You know what I mean? So, never can't really test his skill set. Dude's a hooper for real.
Yeah, most definitely. So, oh man, I'm really hoping that the Mavericks close it out tonight. Though it'd be kind of. Is that a loss for the NBA though? If you have sweeps in the conference championships on both sides, like is that a loss for them, or they're good with that?
I think it's kind of a loss for them because less money made, right? But it kind of shows a couple of things. One, just kind of how weak the East is still, and almost I guess how good Dallas Mavericks are. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you would have told me they were going to sweep the Timberwolves, I'd have been like, "You're crazy." I thought that one was definitely going 7. And I literally said Boston in 5. I was like, Pacers are good enough at home to get 1. Obviously, they're not, but that's what I was thinking. And I really thought Boston was just going to be sitting for at least 3 games, you know what I mean, while they finish this, like, whoever won that finished that one up. So, but that's kind of why I'm a little afraid about, Timberwolves coming back because NBA is like, we need a little extra money.
Right. We'll see. We'll keep a close eye on the calls tonight, because they're like they usually milk the conference finals for at least 2 weeks, and it's literally been from last Tuesday the conference finals were starting till this week. It's pretty much done and dusted. So that is definitely not their style. They want this thing to go, until Father's Day at least, right? So they're trying to drag it out. We'll see. Anthony West says the loss for NBA would have been Indy versus Minnesota. They're getting bigger market teams should Dallas finish this off. That's a great point.
Very
yeah, you're right. Yeah. I mean, the viewership is going to be a little bit different because of the storylines and everything, but you definitely have the star power. It's looking like going towards the final. So good stuff there. I think we'll pretty much leave it at that. I just really wanted to focus on NBA today.
Yeah.
We'll kind of sign off a little bit early and enjoy this game tonight. And then going into the next couple of weeks, we have started doing our little roundup of NFL. So we're going to continue that next week. We're definitely going to do the Rams and the 49ers for Moms and for Kelly. So we're going to do their kind of win-losses. And then anybody else, I want to pick a couple of teams from the AFC. So maybe we'll do your Ravens. And I'm trying to think like who else on the viewership we need to do. So we'll definitely get those taken care of. Anthony Weston says Kyrie and Porzingis revenge series. That's funny.
I know, right? I feel like even more so though for Kai. You know what I'm saying? I think if this was like the Knicks or something like that for Porzy, maybe, but
yeah,
definitely for Kyrie.
Yeah, I feel it. It's crazy. Like him with the Celtics almost like escaped my memory. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was thinking about the other day and I was like, oh yeah, like somebody I'd seen that somewhere and I was like, dang, like I don't like after like the Celtics and the New York Nets years kind of blended all together for me, I guess, with Kyrie. But it's crazy. Like he's definitely one of the few like old guard remaining, basically, like in this finals,
right?
Or in the playoff run so far. So it'll be pretty cool to see him hold it down. Though I'm really hoping that I'm really hoping that the Mavericks can get it done. That'll be super dope. Yeah, I think Porzingis has beef with Luka.
He might.
I think he kind of does. Like, if anything, just animosity because he thought he was going to be the man over there, and Luka from day one was going to be the man on any team. He was going to be on, including a team that brought on Kyrie Irving. So that shows us like how good Luka is, and just what a force he is in the NBA already. So that's kind of why I'm leaning towards him too, because it would be young for him to get a finals, but it would be super dope to see him, hit that plateau at this stage.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if anybody was going to be able to lead a team at this young of an age, it's going to be him. He's an absolute monster since he got into this league. So,
yeah. And even we talked about it when he got drafted, like he was already playing against grown men and everything like that. Yeah. So he was like, it's easier to score in the NBA, and everybody scoffed at that. But it's like, no, he's like, actually, it's kind of more the way the game is played, more free flowing. Like, it is easier, it seems like, for him. So it's pretty crazy. But that's where we'll leave it. We'll see. I think the NBA Finals, though, I was trying to check the schedule. I think it's going to start potentially like next Tuesday. But I thought they had and we'll check on it. We'll talk about it when we get back together next week. But I almost thought that they had it kind of mapped out, like should the Dallas win tonight, like when it would start. But it might even be next Tuesday that we're here doing our real finals preview based on the actual results. So so make sure y'all stay tuned for that. And like I said, we'll get into our NFL wins losses as well next week. But until then, I think we're gonna go ahead and shut it down. We still got to talk too. I know you got vacation coming up and some different things, but we still got to figure out if we're going to do a little get together for episode 250. That is on the horizon. That'll be really fun. 250 weeks in a row of Say Like a Champ. So we might have to get together and maybe just do a live show, you know what I'm saying, in the studio for that one. That'll be pretty dope. But that's 2 weeks away. So make sure you're here for it all. Hit that like button. Appreciate the comments and the contributions to the show along the way. But that was Say Like a Champ, episode 248. It's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Strizzy.
And on behalf of Marcus, go get some tacos.
Taco Tuesday.